Good morning students. Today I am continuing with chapter number 8 and the name of the chapter is comparing quantities. It is one of the interesting chapters. So as per the name of this chapter, comparing quantities, generally what happened in our daily routine, we are compare the height between two person, or you can say weight, sometimes you can say marks also. Generally what happens, students are comparing the marks. Okay, so how can we will continue with this concept comparing quantities? For example, if I am taking 2:4, so basically first we will go through this symbol. This is the symbol related with ratio. So how can we will compare 2:4? It can also be read as 2, right? So it can be written as 2/4, and when we will solve it, we will get 1/2. It means when we will solve 2:4, we will get 1:2. So basically we can say it is also related with division. So with the help of ratio, I am taking one example here. 3:6 and 6:12. So these are two ratios. So how can we will compare it? Can we say these ratios are equal, or one word is there that is equivalent ratio? So how can we will define equivalent ratio with the help of this example? If I am solving this 3:6, it can be written as 3/6 and we will get 1/2. So we will convert this ratio as a fraction. Okay. Same concept if we apply here, but we will get 6/12, and when we will solve it, we will get 1/2. It means these two fractions are equal. It means these ratios are known as equivalent ratio. So if we are getting the same fraction, then we can say ratios are equivalent ratio. And here we are using three quantities, 3, 6 and 12. Or we can say for these two ratios we are using three quantities. So these three quantities are in proportion. So I am using three words here: ratio, equivalent ratio and proportion. This is the symbol of ratio. This is also related with division. As you see here, 2:4 or 2:4 can be written as 1/2. If two ratios are given to us, then how can we will say that these ratios are equivalent ratio? If when we will solve it, if we get the same fraction, then we can say ratios are equivalent ratio. Or when the ratios are equivalent, then what about the proportion? Here we are using three quantities. Here we are using three numbers. That's why we can say 3, 6 and 12. These are in proportion. So after equivalent ratio, if we want to compare the ratio, what is the necessary condition? Units should be same. As I said earlier, we will compare the height between the two person. We will not compare if we will take the height of one person and take the weight of another person and then we will compare it. So if we want to compare something, units should be same. If units are same, then comparison is possible. Otherwise comparison is not possible. For example, if I am saying find the ratio of rupees 5 to 5 paise. So how can we will calculate? This is related with rupees and this is related with paise. Both are the different units, so that comparison is not possible. So how can we will do the comparison? What we will do, we know very well, 1 rupee equals to 100 paise. So first we will convert this rupees 5 as paise. So rupees 5 can be written as 5 into 100 paise, so that it becomes 500 paise. No comparison is possible, otherwise comparison is not possible. So what we will do here, it can be written as 500 paise. 2 means ratio and 5 paise as it is. Now you see here both the units are same. If units are same, then comparison is possible, otherwise it is not possible. So how can we will solve it? After this we can say it can be written as 500 paise upon 5 paise, or When we will solve it, 5 cancel with 500, 100 times, this is 1 time, paise cancel with paise, so we will get 100 upon 1, it means we will get 100 is to 1, 100 ratio 1. So this is the conversion, and conversion is possible when units are same. If units are not same, comparison is not possible. I am taking one more example. With the help of this example, this concept of ratio is more clear to all of you. So this time I am taking one more example. How can we compare 5 kg to 50 grams? So what we will do here, this is kg and this is grams, both the units are different. So what we will do, first we will convert in the same units. So as you know very well, 1 kg equals to 1000 grams. Okay, so 5 kg can be done as 5 into 1000 grams and 50 grams as it is. No, both the units are same. If units are same, then comparison is possible. No, it can be done as 5000 grams to 50 grams, and it can be done as 5000 upon 50 grams. So grams cancel with grams, 0 cancel with 0, and this is 100 time and this is 1 time. So again we will get 100 upon 1, or it can be done as 100 is to 1. So this is the way of solving the question which is related with ratios. You have to pay attention only one thing, units should be same. If units are not same, first we will convert in the same units as you see in this example, in that example. If units are same, then comparison is possible, otherwise comparison is not possible. After this, now we will come to on the next concept, that is related with unitary method. That is very, very important method, and this method was in 6th class. So again I am recalling this concept, that is unitary method. So when we will apply unitary method? Unitary method. So if the cost of 1 unit is given to us, or if we calculate the cost of 1 unit and we want the cost of required number of units, then we will go with the unitary method. I am taking one example here. With the help of this example, the concept of unitary method is clear to all of you. So for example, if I am taking the cost of 10 bowls is rupees 90, then what would be the cost of 15 bowls? Okay, this is the question. If the cost of 10 bowls is rupees 90, then what would be the cost of 15 bowls? So how can we will solve this question with the help of unitary method? So first we will write cost of 10 bowls, this is rupees 90. It means cost of 1 bowl, this is equals to rupees 90 upon 10, it becomes rupees 9. Okay, then how can we calculate cost of 15 bowls? So it means it can be done as rupees 9 into 15, and when we multiply rupees 9 with 15, it becomes rupees 225. So this is the way of solving the question with the help of unitary method. So first we will calculate the cost of 1 unit, and after that we will calculate the cost of required unit. So with the help of this example, we will show this concept easily. After unitary method, now I am continuing with one important concept, that is related with percentage. So generally we hear this word percentage whenever some result is declared, or someone asks to us, yes, what about the percentage? Then we will tell, yes, I am getting 70%, 80% and 90%. So what is the meaning of percentage? So basically percentage is related with two words, per and then centum. Or we can say it is also related with per 100. So for example, if I am taking 80%, so first I want to tell that this is the symbol. This is the symbol of percentage. Okay, so if someone is saying कि I am getting 80%, it means 80 out of 100. It means I am getting 80 marks out of 100 marks. This is the meaning of percentage. So, for example, if someone say to me, I want to calculate 25% of 200. So, how can we will calculate? First, we will write 25. Percentage means per 100. It can be written as 1 upon 100. Of means multiply 200 as it is. Now we will continue cancellation. 0 cancel with 0. 1 0 again cancel with 0. So we will get 50. It means we can say 25% of 200 is 50. Or you can say it can also be denoted by 25 upon 100 into 200. When we will solve it, again we will get 50. So both the concepts are correct for the percentage point of view. Now I am coming to the next point, and the next point is related with, you can say, how can we convert fraction number to percentage? So I am continuing with this. The next concept is conversion of fraction number in percentage. Conversion of fraction number in percentage. This is the symbol of percentage. So again I am taking one example. If someone say to us, write 1 upon 3 as percentage, right? So how can we will do this? We will write here 1 upon 3 into 100%. So 100 upon 3%. Now when we will divide 100 by 3, how can we will divide? One time we will write here 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Again we will write 10, 3, again 9 and 1. So it means we will get 33 by 1 upon 3 percentage. So this is the conversion of fraction number into percentage. This is the fraction and this is the conversion in percentage. Or one another method is also there. If we want to continue with this 1 upon 3 into, if we write 100 upon 100, that is also right. Because we know very well percentage means per 100, 1 upon 100. So this 100 remains same and it can be written as 100 into 1, 100 into 3 upon 1 upon 100. And when we will continue with this 100 upon 3, we will get 33 by 1 upon 3, and the meaning of 1 upon 100 is percentage. So this is also the way of solving fraction number to percentage. Now I come to the next concept, that is conversion of decimal number. So there are so many concepts, so many examples are given in your NCERT book. So I am taking one part or one example from these concepts. So the next concept is related with conversion of decimal numbers. You can say conversion of decimal numbers in percentage. So I am taking one example. He write 0.03 in percentage. So how can we will write it? We can say 0.03 into 100%, and it can be written as, when we will solve it, when we will remove the decimal, what we will get 3 upon 100 into 100%. So it becomes 300 upon 100 percentage, and then we cancel it. What we will get? We will get 3%. It means 0.03. This is the decimal number, can be written as 3%. And if we want to check our answer, see yes our answer is correct or not, what we will do? 3% can be written as 3 upon 100, and when we will solve it, what we will get as per the concept of decimal, we will get 0.03. So this is the cross verification of these questions also. So this is the conversion of decimal number in percentage. Now after this conversion, I am continue with the next concept, that is increase or decrease percentage. So increase or decrease percentage, generally we are using, yes, the population of this state it increased from this to this in year this and that. So we are generally talking about decrease or increase percentage. So what is the meaning of that? So basically the meaning of increase percentage, the formula of increase or decrease percentage is same. Increase, or you can say decrease percentage. So how can we will define, how can we will write the formula of increase percentage? We can say increase percentage is related with amount of change upon original amount, right, into 100. Same formula we are using for decrease percentage also. So for example, if I am taking one question so that it will be more clear. The question is a school team, and writing here one example, a school team won 6 games this year against 4 games won last year. What is the percentage increase? So this is the question. On behalf of this formula, how can we will calculate such type of questions? So as you see here, it is written here, a school team won 6 games this year against 4 games won last year. It means original was 4 and this time 6 games are there. So how can we will calculate the increase percentage? So first we will write the formula of increase percentage. We will write, we know that increase percentage, this is equals to amount of change. Amount of change means 4 to 6 or 6 to 4. It is given here, and then original amount. Amount means it is related with the game. In particular, this question. So how can we will calculate this? We will, after this we will write here is 6 minus 4. This is the change in game. Amount of change means 6 minus 4. This time the particular team won the 6 games, but earlier it was 4 games. So we will write 6 minus 4, and what is the original amount? That is your 4 into 100, and when we will solve it, 6 minus 4, this is your 2 upon 4 into 100. So when we will cancel it, what we will get? 1 upon 2. Again we will cancel it. It means increase percentage is 50%. It means a particular team, for it is written the school team won the match. So what is the percentage increase? So we can say increase percentage is related with the 50%. If I am continuing with the decrease, again we will continue with the same formula. I am taking one more question related with this, so that concept of increase and the decrease percentage will be clear to all of you. Again we will go with the same formula, but this time we will calculate decrease percentage. So the question is, the number of illiterate person. I am writing the question. The number of illiterate person in a country decreased from 150 lakhs to 100 lakhs in 10 years. right? So what is the percentage of decrease? So with the help of above formula, how can we will solve such type of the problem? So as you see in this question or example, if the number of elected person in a country decreased from 150 lakhs to 100 lakhs, it means earlier it was 150 lakhs, now it is 100 lakhs. So how can we will calculate decrease percentage? So again same pattern. First we will write down the formula of decrease percentage. So we can say decrease percentage, this is equals to amount of change, or if you want to write change in population, that is also possible. After this we will write here original population or original amount, both are same thing in respect of this question. So amount of change upon original amount means population here. So after this, how can we write? We will write here 150 lakhs minus 100 lakhs. Now what is the original population? It means original population was 150 lakhs. So we will write here 150 lakhs into 100. So when we will solve it, 150 lakhs minus 100 lakhs, we will get 50 lakhs upon 150 lakhs into 100. Now we have to solve it. Lakhs cancel with lakhs, 0 cancel with 0, 5 cancel with 3 times, and then we will divide 100 upon 3, we will get 33 by 1 upon 3 percentage. So it means this is the downfall in percentage. If the population of a particular, you can say, particular place is decreased from 150 lakhs to 100 lakhs. So this is the way of solving the question which is related with the decrease percentage. Earlier example was related with increase percentage, and this is the question or example is related with the decrease percentage. So with the help of these examples, we will solve the question which is based on increase and decrease percentage. So this is the concept of increase and decrease percentage. So after increase and decrease percentage, we will continue with the next concept, that is profit and loss, and after that we will solve profit percentage and loss percentage. Now I will continue with one of the interesting concept, that is profit and loss. So what is the meaning of profit? So whenever we purchase something from the market, that is, if we buy something from the market, from the shopkeeper, that buying price is related with the cost price. And if we sell something, okay, to someone, what we will get, that is selling price for us. So basically, profit is related with selling price and cost price. Selling price is represented by S.P and cost price is related with C.P. So basically, profit means selling price minus cost price, and the loss means selling price cost price minus selling price. Or we can say in simple words, if selling price is greater than cost price, definitely we have profit, and if vice versa of it, it means if cost price is greater than selling price, then we have loss. And when both are equal, it means selling price is equal to cost price, then we have either profit or loss. So for example, I am taking one question. If selling price is rupees 1000 and cost price is rupees 1500, right? So how can we calculate profit and loss in this case? So basically, if we see here, we can say selling price is less than cost price. So selling price is rupees 1000 and cost price is 1500, and definitely 1500 is greater than 1000. So what we will see, if selling price is less than cost price, it means we are in this case, so it is related with loss and this is related with profit. So it means in this case we can say our loss is equivalent to cost price minus selling price. So cost price is 1500 and selling price is 1000. It means we have a loss of rupees 500 particular for this type of case. So this is the concept related with profit and loss. Whenever the selling price is greater than cost price, we have profit. Vice versa of it, we will get loss. And when both are equal, neither profit and neither loss is there. So with the help of this concept, we will continue with one of the interesting concept of this chapter, that is profit percentage and loss percentage. And profit percentage and loss percentage are always calculated on behalf of CP, on behalf of cost price. So our next concept is profit percentage and loss percentage. Profit percentage and loss percentage. What is the meaning of profit percentage? Profit percentage means we can say it is equivalent to profit upon CP into 100. Okay, if we divide profit by cost price and multiply by 100, it is related with profit percentage. Loss percentage means loss upon CP into 100. So the thing which is common here, that is related with cost price. That's why I said profit percentage and loss percentage both are always calculated on behalf of cost price. So how can we will solve the question which is related with profit percentage and loss percentage? So I am telling to all of you one by one the question which is related with profit percentage and loss percentage. So first I will take one question that is related with profit percentage. So the question is, if I am saying if cost price of a particular object is rupees 120, okay, and loss percentage is 10%, right? Then how can we calculate selling price of that particular object? This is the question and we have to solve it. So how can we will solve? We have to calculate selling price and the question is related with loss percentage. So first we will write down the formula of loss percentage. So the loss percentage is loss upon CP into 100. So loss percentage, it is given to us, it is 10% you can say, and loss, we have no idea about loss, so it is better if we write here the formula of loss, that is CP minus SP. And what is CP? CP is given to us, that is 120 into 100, right? So in next step, how can we solve it? So 0 cancel with 0 and 10 cancel with 12 5 times and this is 6 times. What we will get? 10 equals to again CP 120 minus SP upon 6 into 5. Now we multiply 6 with 10, so it becomes 60. And 5 multiplied by 120 and 5 also multiplied by SP, so we will get 600 minus 5 times of selling price. So with the help of this equation, how can we will calculate the value of selling price? So by transfer method, we can say 5 times of selling price. This is equals to 600 minus 60. We will transfer this negative SP from right hand to left hand and this 60 from left hand to right hand. So it can be written in this way. So 5 times of selling price, this is equals to 540. We have to calculate, but we have to calculate only and only selling price. So we will divide both the side by 5. When we will divide both the side by 5, what we will get? We will get selling price as rupees 108. It means we can say the selling price of the particular object is 108. It means when cost price is rupees 120 and loss is 10%, then we will calculate the value of selling price, that is equivalent to rupees 108. So this is the way of solving the question which is related to loss percentage, and when cost price is given, then we will solve easily the value of selling price. Now I am continuing with one more question, and that is related with profit percentage. So if the question is related with profit percentage, then we will continue with the question which is related with profit percentage. So again I am taking one question. This time let the selling price of any object is related with rupees 540. Profit is 20%. Right? Profit percentage is 20%. Then how can we will calculate the value of cost price? If these data are given, how can we will calculate? So what we will write here? If we know that profit percentage is profit upon CP into 100. So what we will do? We will write here the value of profit percentage, that is 20, and the formula of profit is SP minus CP, right? And the CP this time we have to calculate into 100. After this 20 as it is, the value of selling price is 540. We have no idea about the value of CP, so we will write as it is upon CP into 100, right? It is better if we write this numerator in brackets. Now in numerator we will go with the distributive property, and this 20 multiplied by CP, it is 20 times of cost price, and 540 multiplied by 100, it becomes 54,000 minus sign. Then CP multiplied by 100, it becomes 100 times of CP. Okay, as per the previous method, as per the previous question, again we will continue the transfer method. So minus 100 times of CP, transfer from right hand to left hand, so the symbol will change with the help of transfer method. It can be written in this way. So when we will add these two, it becomes 120 times of cost price equals to 54,000. So what we will do? We will divide both the sides by 120 and we will solve it. So 0 and 0 cancel. So when we will divide the table of 12, so it will come 12 4 ja 48, 6 is remaining, and 12 5 ja 60. So we will get, so we can say cost price of a particular object is related with rupees 540. So this is the way of solving the question which is related with selling price, profit percentage, and we have to calculate the value of cost price. It means when we will put the formula of profit percentage, then we will solve it easily as per this procedure. So in this question, the answer of cost price of that particular object is rupees 450. So with the help of these two example or questions, we will solve the question which is related with profit percentage and loss percentage. Now I am continuing with one more interesting concept that is related with amount, interest and principal value. This is the last concept of this chapter number 8. So as you know very well, generally we are depositing or we are deposit, or our parents or your parents are deposit some money in the banks. So for example, if someone is deposit 10,000 rupees in a bank, or you can say a post office. Okay. So what happened? Whenever anyone deposits some amount in a bank or post office, both will give some interest. For example, this interest is 10% per year. Okay, interest is always related with the percentage, and this is per year बोलिए या per annum, or you can say the symbol is this. So whenever we deposit something in a bank or post office or any financial institutions, they will give to us some interest. It may be related with 1 year or 2 year or 3 year. Some percentage is there. So it means this 10,000 rupees we deposit in a bank, this is related with principal value, or you can say this is related with some borrowed, right? Interest, this interest is related with rate of interest, you can say, and this per year, this is related with time. So for example, if someone deposit 10,000 rupees in a bank at the rate of 10% for 1 year, so after 1 year, what he or she will get, that is related with amount. It means after 1 year, he or she will get principal plus interest on that particular principal amount. It means we can say if amount is related with A, principal is related with P, and interest is related with I, then we can say A equals to P plus I. So this is the formula related with amount equals to principal plus interest. Now I am taking one question related with this concept. Let P equals to 20,000 rupees, right? And time is, you can say 1 year. Okay, so how can we calculate, or I is interest, if I am taking interest 10% per year, or you can say per annum, right? And how can we calculate amount? So as we know very well, as per the formula, amount is related with principal plus interest, right? Principal is 20,000 rupees. Interest, how can we calculate interest? Interest we have to calculate always on the principal amount. So we will write here 10% of 20,000. But this concept I already told during the concept of percentage. So how can we solve it? We can say, particular for this example, the value of amount will be 20,000, that is the principal amount as it is, and when we will solve this, it can be written as 10 upon 100 of means multiply 20,000. A simple calculation we will do here. It means we will get 20,000 plus 2,000. It means after 1 year we will get 22,000 rupees. Okay. So if principal is 20,000, time is 1 year, interest is 10% per annum, then how can we will calculate amount? With the help of this procedure, we will get the value of amount, which is the sum of principal and interest. But what happens if we take the time more than 1 year? If the time is more than 1 year, we will go with some formula, and the concept is related with, you can say, the name of the concept is interest for multiple years. So on that time, how can we calculate simple interest? So the next concept is related with interest for multiple years. Multiple years. So in this case, we will calculate the value of simple interest, that is represented by SI also. Simple interest means SI. This is equated with P into R into T upon 100, where P is principal, R is rate of interest, T is time. So with the help of this formula, we will easily calculate the value of simple interest which is related with SI. Now I am taking one question related with this so that this concept will be more clear. If Shyam, I'm writing this question and then we will solve it. If Shyam pays an interest of rupees 750, right, for 2 years. The concept is related with multiple years. That's why I am taking here 2 years on a sum of rupees 4,500. Then find rate of interest. R means rate of interest. So first we will see here what is given to us. If Shyam pays an interest of rupees 750 for 2 years on a sum of rupees 4,500, it means sum means it is related with principal value, 2 years it is related with time. Okay, R we have to calculate. So what is 750? This is related with SI or simple interest. So how can we solve this question? First we will write down the formula. If we know that SI equals to P into R into T upon 100. Now one by one we will put all the values. The value of simple interest is 750. The value of principal is 4,500. Rate we have to calculate. Time is 2 years upon 100. Zero cancel with zeros, and it can be done as 750 into 90 into R. Now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the value of rate of interest, so that we will divide both the sides by 90, so that it can be written as this. 0 and 0 cancel. Now we have to divide 75 by 9. So what we will do? We will divide 79 by 5. So it can be written as 8 by 3 upon 9 percentage, or when we will solve it further, we can say it becomes 8 by 1 upon 3 percentage, because R is always related with percentage. That's why we can say for this example, the value of rate of interest is 8 by 1 upon 3 percentage. So with the help of all these concepts, we will solve the question which is related with profit and loss, which are related with, you can say, rate of interest, principal value, profit percentage and loss percentage. There are so many questions given in your NCERT book. So with the help of all these concepts, we will try for these. It is one of the interesting chapter, and all these concepts will come in your upcoming classes. Thank you very much.